Hello everybody. All right, so I know that this is usually when I do my weekly grocery hauls, and this week I do not have that for you. I don't have it because, guys, I told you last week that I wasn't sure what groceries were going to look like because we had so much company coming. I wasn't sure when I would get it done. Truth is, on Friday, when I normally get the groceries, I had a small window to run to the store in, and I took a couple of the teenagers with me, mine and our friends. And yeah, it was a mad dash, but by the time we got back, guys, there was almost 20 people in our house already. There was no way I could do a grocery haul. Even if the older kids and the adults all understood to kind of stay quiet for a minute, way too many little kids and way too much busyness happening. So, guys, I made a choice not to do it. But what that is doing is giving me a great opportunity to finally give you the update that I have been promising. Now, if you have missed it, I have actually recorded this multiple times. The problem with that is I've ran into some snags. I started it many times that I didn't get to finish it. I actually finished it one time, only to find out that my new camera also eats videos over a certain length, and I do not know why. It has to be a Canon issue. It must not be just something specific to my camera. So, first of all, I want to give kind of a heads up here. While mostly okay now, over the last week, I've also managed to catch the summer cold that most of the kids in the house have kind of cycled through. It didn't hit everybody, but with my immune deficiency, everything hits me, and it hits me a lot harder and longer. So while for them it was 2 to 3 days on average, a little bit of a stuffy nose, the drainage caused a little bit of a cough, and then they were done, I lost my voice for a couple of days. It still catches here and there, and when I breathe in, half the time it sounds like I am sucking air. So that's where that's at. And guys, I promise I am fine. I am very much on the upswing. I'm just waiting for the last little bit of this to be good to go. It does also, though, with the drainage mean I am coughing a lot, so you're going to see a lot of editing jumps in this video. Okay, so I am going to condense this down as much as humanly possible. Trying to keep things in order as much as possible, but I don't promise that. I'm going to do a little bit of jumping as I think of things or remember them. So we're going to go back to the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, we had 3 foster kiddos that did end up moving on to a different placement. We went at the end of January out to the Sioux Falls area where we got to spend a week with friends of ours, and we picked up 2 puppies. Miniature schnauzers that one of which the goal was, maybe is, I don't know, to be trained as a service dog for Mr. Moo, and that is another whole thing there. I very quickly realized that 2 male puppies from the same litter was way more than I could handle. I had no idea the type of energy or destruction that would ensue, and it actually worked out really well because friends of ours have his brother. They have even brought him over to visit and stuff, so we can get the puppies together to visit here and there, but it just did not work out for us to have 2 puppies. So we have the original DOG that we intended to get, as well as a second one that we made the last minute decision to also get and changed our minds. So there is that with DOG and training him. He is 7 months old now. Actually, he might be pushing 8. I don't know. He is much larger than originally anticipated. He's actually larger than the largest I was told he would get. And he's not completely done growing yet. Obviously much slower at this point, but he's not done growing yet. And that is okay because we actually thought we wanted a standard schnauzer, but they're a little bit harder to find and more expensive. I had a direct line on these miniatures, and I have talked to enough people that they have trained these 4 kids with similar issues and whatnot. So I thought, it'll work. It really works that he is bigger than anticipated. Last we checked, he was over 19 pounds, and that was at the 6-month mark. And we know he has grown even more since then. So there is that. As far as training him, I don't know. We frequently call him the smartest dumb dog around because he picks up on certain things so quickly and he trains so well, but then he turns around and just does things that make you go, wow, I don't know what we're going to be able to teach you. He's still a puppy though, so we're giving a lot of grace. Obviously, there's plenty of time. We're still working on a couple of the basics. He is doing better and better day by day. It's actually just, the problem is actually consistency from us because I can't be the only one training him if we want him to listen to everybody. That said though, he is 100% providing the purpose that we got him for, which was actually for Micah, because after his little escaping act last fall, we decided a dog that would help keep him where he's supposed to be would be beneficial, with the idea that here in a couple of years, we would have him trained so that he could actually go to the stores with us because Micah is a runner. And that makes it really difficult. And I know at some point he's going to outgrow sitting in the back end of the shopping cart. And I need something or someone or whatever to kind of help keep him by us, because while we hold his hand and keep close eyes on him, like I said, he's a runner. So that's down the road, but right now, having DOG out in the yard with him is actually doing exactly what we needed. So he stays put. So that is really nice. It also helps that we have other kids here again and lots of equipment being put up in our yard. As far as we just put up a dome climber, we're going to get a swing set. So there's things to keep him entertained without having to follow every fuzzy critter that runs through our fence. Okay, so there is all of that. Mr. Moo is growing. With that said, I've done some more research. I have found some updates on his genetic mutation. I have not gone over this with his geneticist just yet because his appointment is not until late fall, which actually the appointment doesn't exist yet. I have to call and schedule it, but he doesn't go back until late fall. And with that, what I have found though is that his particular mutation has been identified in more cases. They have definitively labeled what, not really what symptoms, but what characteristics match this. So that way we can also determine which ones are from something else or just spontaneous. But based on that article, because they were just confirming this fact, it still doesn't have a name yet. So the hope is that by the time we see his geneticist, it will have a name and I will get to share that. But with that said, guys, it's more official. He went from being the 4th identified to one of 22 people in this world with this mutation. And we know that it causes autistic-like tendencies. It causes ADHD-type tendencies. It does cause developmental delays, some of them significant. It causes speech delays, which were a little less significant. Over-friendliness is actually listed as one of the characteristics, which absolutely describes him because Mr. Moo has this huge amount of empathy for others while at the same time having no concept that his actions may harm others sometimes. So moving on from that, guys, I have shared in other videos as well. So we went and saw our friends Paul and Aaron back at the end of January. We went back and saw them again for a really fast weekend trip the middle of May because we knew we had to. I've always stayed in pretty close contact with her, but after we left in January, about 2 weeks later, she started getting really ill and she thought it was long COVID, but it turns out that the cancer she had known she'd had for many years, that had been unchanging, suddenly changed. And we knew it was only getting worse quickly. So the middle of May, we went out and saw her, and upon seeing her, we knew it was even worse than we could have imagined. So glad we went when we did, because then about a week and a half after we came home, she did pass away. And so we got to spend that time with them. So then, of course, we turned around, we went right back out for the funeral. And Paul and their 7 kids have been here a couple of times. They are actually on an amazing trip right now that I cannot wait until they come back through and tell us all about it and how it went. Lots of life adjustments there. But with that, I have to actually back up. And this one I did kind of do out of order purposely because it plays a role in this. We had our previous last placement for foster care back in March is when she left us. And at that time I said, guys, I think I did a whole video that I wasn't sure we would continue with fostering. We were pretty sure we were done. Our license was set to expire in May. And we were just done. We did not take any more placements. And then a series of events that I'll actually circle back to that here in a minute. We kind of decided here in May, like at weeks from it expiring, you know what, let's just renew it because this is where we're at right now. And then about that fast, we got a call about a place. Actually, we didn't get a call about a placement. I got an email. And then I called them and said, yep, let's do this. So we have 2 girls that joined us. They joined us on a Wednesday, and that matters because they came in Wednesday afternoon. They're part of a larger sibling group, which we'll see what all happens with that in the future. It's great getting to see the kids visit each other for now. And Thursday morning is when Paul called to tell me that Aaron had passed. So that was a huge shock. But guys, if you know me, you know that I really give a thought to everything and how things affect people. These are kiddos that were so fresh into foster care. The first call I made was to the workers. And I told them, I said, look, here's what's happened. We are going to this funeral. And these girls are coming with us because they've been through enough. And I am not going to utilize respite care and send these guys off to somebody else's house for a couple of nights right after they've joined us, before they're even comfortable with us even. So I said, unless you guys can tell me a reason not to, they're coming with us. And because we were staying in state, it was actually completely doable. Ironically, 2 days after we got back from the funeral, we actually did have to travel across state lines for a wedding for one of my cousins. And what's funny is we drove across the state, a 6.5-hour drive to get from our house to the funeral. And that was not a problem because we stayed within the state's border. But to drive 1 hour directly over the state line into Wyoming for a wedding, we had to get permission because we left the state with them. So it's just kind of one of those funny things. Anyhow, we had a blast with that. The girls did amazing traveling with us, and that was all great. So how did we come back to fostering? Well, guys, I was dropping hints left and right all spring about big changes coming. I don't know if you guys have heard this saying before, but it's one of my favorite ones that, we make plans and God laughs. And even when we think these are God's plans, if they're not, He laughs. And He puts us back on that right path. It has not been a secret. I have not loved being back here. We have lived back in the Black Hills for the last 5 years. And actually 5.5 years. And so we've actually looked at many opportunities to leave. We really have, which is also funny because my channel name is Black Hills Mommy. But that's because I created the name many, many years ago because we're from here. But we had some opportunities come up. First of all, we thought we were going to be moving to Arizona because we were making it happen. Except no matter how hard we tried, we literally couldn't make it happen. So we finally just sat and prayed on it and then came to the conclusion that, that is not what we are supposed to be doing. And so as we were talking it over and praying more, I'm like, okay, God, what's our path here? A job came open for a different bread company. Because if you remember, Shawn used to work for a bread company out here. And then at the end of October, he left that company to go to a food delivery company that was supposed to give him the opportunity to do something else that, again, I dropped a lot of hints about, but guys, this is just how life has been working. The big thing that we were working towards last November, December just never came about at that time. So then he started applying for this other bread job, and he actually was basically being told that the job was his. So we, like, guys, we had the house packed. We didn't just have realtors come out. We didn't just have pictures done. We were on the market. It was live to realtors. It was within an hour of going publicly live. They told us that they were already getting calls on it. And because this job was happening, and then like we had noticed that the company was like starting to drag their feet on different things, and then they had to do another interview and do this and do that. Well, when we hit the point where like they said, okay, this is happening. And so we're like, okay, well, the house is going on the market this day. The joke was on everybody because last minute he got a call that said, hey, so we don't think you're getting that job. We really want you for it, but there's this guy in the middle that we're kind of letting him build his own team, and kind of put it off on that guy. Turns out there may have been more to that story, but I won't go into that here. Anyhow, they asked him if he would be interested in, oh, and by the way, that job was moving us to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So that's where we were moving. And I was not saying that previously, but now I can because it doesn't matter. Because it didn't happen, they asked him if he would be interested in purchasing an independent route that they were creating out there. But the problem with that is, while they were creating it with accounts that already existed, it was not a job that already existed, so there was not an established history, which made getting a mortgage very difficult, which made, living there very difficult with this many people. We found out on top of that there were no benefits with that job, no insurance or anything. And with this many people, with a child with special needs, with my health issues, insurance is necessary. So he politely told them not a chance. And yeah, so we're like, okay. So we took a step back. We went, well, that went really fast. And actually we got the news after we visited Paul and Aaron mid-May. It was within that following week. We got the news. I actually let Aaron know we were not moving, that it didn't happen. And I had a very encouraging text from her about what God's plan may be. And so we took a breath, and guys, oh, the irony of it. What was supposed to be happening last November, December is Shawn traveled to Texas to attend the Auto Glass Academy, where he became certified in windshield repair and replacement. And the game plan was that the job he took was supposed to be 4 days a week so that he could get this windshield business up and going. We were supposed to have it going before the end of the year, and we would see how it was going. He would continue with the job he was in through the spring until he got enough clientele and everything that we could see come summer if it was going to be enough to support us if he left that job, or the fact that that particular job typically would, the paychecks increase enough because we live in a tourist area, and when you're on a variable pay based on how much you deliver and the miles you drive and all of that. That was the plan. The job was not what it was supposed to be. He never got a route. He was working 5 days a week. It did not create the window of time he was supposed to have to start the business. And then we started looking at moving. So he actually put all of the business stuff on hold because we thought, well, maybe we're just not supposed to be here. Then we realized we are never getting out of here. Those doors were so firmly shut, we finally had to just acknowledge that this is where we're at and this is where we're remaining for the time being. And guys, I don't worry about it. I actually came to a true peace with things, including like some of the personal issues about why I didn't want to be here. So, yeah, just kind of went forward, and then we had to take a step back and go, okay, well, this job is not what it was originally supposed to be. It doesn't pay what they had told him it was going to pay. So what do? We're not moving. And we decided to kind of buckle down and go full force with the windshield business. Guys, we officially own a windshield business in the Black Hills of South Dakota. We're business owners, and this is new to us. It is very intimidating. I know there's things we haven't done yet that we probably should have, and I don't know what they are. My gut tells me that there's things we don't know yet because we don't know. We are working very hard to get all that straightened out though, but he has purchased all of the tools. Well, he did tell me that he's got a couple small ones he still has to get. But we purchased a van for him to use. We've done everything as far as getting the setup. He's licensed, he's insured, he's certified, like all of these things are in place. And right now, so the company he's been working for, he's trying to work with them so that he can kind of transition out of that job and into just running the business while making sure that this is all working out right. And they're not really making it easy. So we'll see there. There's also another job that came up that he may consider if it's offered to him while still doing the windshields on the side. So I don't know. We'll see there. But we own a business. And our house never truly hit the market. So it only went live to the realtors. We pulled it that hour before it went live to the public. And with that, we have now spent the last month and a half since then with all of our stuff remaining packed because guys, we did this a year ago too when we thought we were buying a new build and the builder kind of screwed us over. We packed everything and then we had to unpack, which we never fully unpacked. And I've been hesitant to unpack just in case we have to pack it all again. But we are to that point where I've got to get it unpacked and we're going to get rid of even more stuff. We were getting rid of a lot when we thought we were moving. So now we have more stuff to get rid of. I talked to several of the kids earlier today about the fact that, guys, this stuff has been packed up for a couple of months now. And we're actually okay without a lot of it. So we need to really evaluate what we unpack. There are some things that we've got to get unpacked because we really need them. But we're working on that. And yes. So we have one dog. We're still fostering. We renewed our license. We have 2 foster children right now. We own a business officially. We started a business officially. We are not moving. We are staying in this house, which actually means I'm doing some things to this house that I have put off doing so far because I realized I didn't want to be here. And now I'm actually okay with it. And then, things like last weekend when we had massive sewer backup. Because one of the many children that were here flushed some stuff that we're still not sure what exactly they flushed, but they flushed some stuff that they shouldn't have. And it caused some major issues in the middle of the night that we had to pay extra to have a plumber come and take care of that. He still has tools here because he got them stuck in the pipe and then couldn't come up with the other tools he needed to get them unstuck. So we're waiting for him to come back and take care of that. That's supposed to be tomorrow. And no doubt, I have completely forgotten something in the midst of this update. And so if that's the case, if you've caught anything I've missed or if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. And in the meantime, guys, I'm going to get signed off of here so I can actually go to bed. And because I had lost my voice, I did not get the second installment in my budgeting video done when it was supposed to be. So that will be going up here this week. I do also have a couple of yes.fit videos that need to go up. And I think I found something else on my computer that I never posted. So I will spread all of that over this week and next week. And we will go from there. Guys, I hope that you are having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss everything else coming up next. I'll see you in the next one.